OMG, welcome back to my channel. So excited you are here. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I appreciate you. It's Jody Dunn. I'm outside. We're going to be doing a front yard kind of makeover. I'm going to give you a tour of where we are starting. All right, since I can't work in the backyard until all the poison ivy is gone, we're going to work in the front yard while we have nice warm weather. It's like going to be 90 degrees, I think, this whole week. We almost went from winter to dang summer here in Michigan. So we've got this area, and I didn't even film it before because I didn't know Hubs was going to do this. I already told you about my tree that died. We'll take that out eventually, but we're not worrying about that today. We did have two bushes here. We have kind of a different plan for this area, so we just went ahead. He took those out already and he filled. We had the well fixed this year because it broke and there was big gaping holes, so the Hubs filled all the holes, and now we just got to get this all covered up. And I just have the flowers I got for Mother's Day, but just a lot of cleanup needs to be done. Some weed pulling, but not a ton, which is awesome. And we're just gonna kind of spruce this area up. I have a couple of ideas. Just like with all my projects, I'm probably not gonna finish it in this video because I have so many ideas and, limited amount of time, limited amount of resources. You just gotta work on them when you can. And this is up here by the house, and here's the porch, which you're actually gonna see some power washing. The porch has already been power washed. Oh, can you see him? There's Clarky. It's too hot for him to come outside. I already took him on a walk this morning before it got too hot because he needs some exercise, but it's just too darn hot for him. So anyways, this is where we're starting, and let's get started. All right, first thing we're going to get started with is the cleaning. We actually did this last week. I had showed you a little bit of the power washing. This was the very first time using the power washer. There's Clark again, always watching us. So Hubs did the whole front of the house, cleaned off the brick, cleaned off the eaves troughs, and then we're going to move to the porch, which, similar to the driveway, if you caught my video last week, I really didn't think was that dirty until we got the power washer to it and I could see the dirt coming off. Just this little bit that he sprayed, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. It's so dirty. So he cleaned the whole darn thing, and it was very satisfying to watch the dirt go away. A lot of the porch had moss or algae or something on it, which you can kind of see right here, which I figured that would come up. I was just a little shocked at how much dirt there also was up here. If you are new and you just found me, I am so very happy that you are here. Would you please say hello to me down in the comments? I would love to welcome you to the channel. And if you are already subscribed, thanks so much for coming back to another video. I sure do appreciate you. So here in Michigan, we have had some crazy weather because it wasn't even just 2 weeks ago. We were still getting frost advisories at night, so I couldn't get any flowers outside yet. And then all of a sudden, it's like 90 degrees every day this week, which I love. I'm not complaining about, but we are not expected to get any rain for like 10 days, and it's already burning up the dang grass because it's been so hot. So here is a quick look at the porch before we got to power washing, and you can see a lot of dirt. I mean, it didn't look terrible to me, but here's the spots I was telling you about that's got like the algae growing on it that I was hoping would come up, and sure enough, the power washer did get it. I don't know what that little blue thing is, but the power washer did not get that. It must be some kind of paint. But I was completely shocked at the after. It's not perfect, but it looks so much better. And yes, if you notice the bottom of these columns, they need to be replaced. I'm hoping to get that done this year. I know y'all totally get it. It's a never-ending list of things that need to be completed in the home. Like it literally just never ends. Anyways, lots of dirt gone and all the algae is gone and it just looks so much better. And I got this quick clip of Viv outside and Clark. Viv joined color guard, so she's out in the yard practicing right now. This is my girl's last week of school, and Viv is going into high school. OMG. Got it. Oh, well, the windows are quite dirty from when you sprayed them today.
They were quite dirty in the first place.
Yeah. Whoever flies that hot air balloon must live close by because they land right in our subdivision. I thought I would catch that on video. We usually see them once a year. And of course, all the neighbors come out to look because it's just a super cool thing. All right, I'm going to work on transforming this bench. I asked the hubs to help me move it out. I hardly ever ask him for help because he just gets all sassy with me. It's just the weirdest thing. I'll be working on something, not asking him for help, and he'll just pitch in with no problem. But the moment I ask him for help, he starts giving me the 20 questions of why I'm doing this and why I want to move there and blah, 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 with like a big sassy attitude. So I'm going to power wash this bench. And I did use the power washer last week. However, Hubs had set it all up. So I had no idea what I was doing. And I was having lots of trouble. I couldn't figure out how the dang thing went together. And I'll be darned if I was going to go ask him for help. So I went in the garage. I got the owner's manual, which was all in French and Spanish, so I couldn't understand it. Anyways, I was out here for a good 10 minutes. And then all of a sudden, he just showed up. And I'm a Taurus, so I'm darn stubborn. It is true what they say about Tauruses. I would have never asked him for help. But after like 10 minutes, he came out and he's like, do you need some help? He was sweet as pie after he gave me all kinds of sassy attitude about helping me move the dang bench. And then I watched him so that I would never have to ask for help again. So he got it all hooked up, which was great. Then he gave it to me, and it was funny because I started power washing, and there was like literally no pressure. He's like, yeah, you got to wait for the water to flow through, and I was spraying it, and there was like no pressure. See, there's the manual he picked up from the grass that I was trying to read through. Anyways, it just didn't have any pressure. And then you started looking at it, trying to figure out. And then I was like, oh, we forgot to actually turn the machine on. So let me turn it on. I'm not entirely certain if you're supposed to power wash wood. My guess is probably not. However, this thing was filthy. I knew it was wood, but I couldn't even remember what it looked like. Look at the wood underneath all of this dirt and grime. So I figured it's either power wash it and hopefully it's okay, or I'm just going to have to scrap it because there's no way I was going to try to clean this thing by hand. The power washer did an absolutely incredible job of cleaning this bench. My dad bought me this bench 12 years ago when we moved into this house as like a housewarming gift. So I was really hoping that I would be able to salvage it. And we've had it on our back deck basically the whole time. So, the weather, the elements, it probably has bird poop all over it. Like, I don't know. It's just filthy. But I'm so happy the power washer got it all cleaned up. And I have a little plan for this thing. I'm going to move it out of the back and put it into the front. I think it'll look super duper cute. Now, I did notice as I was power washing that I would need to sand it as well. Not necessarily because I was trying to get the color of the wood any different than it is, or if I wasn't trying to remove any stain that maybe was on it. But here she is after she was cleaned off. Oh my gosh, it looks so much better. Could have been from sitting out in the elements, or it could have been from the pressure of the power washer. if somebody were to sit on this, I didn't want anybody to get splinters in their butt. Splinters are terrible to begin with. You definitely don't want them on your behind. So I'm just going to sand it all down so it's all nice and smooth and make sure I get all of the edges. I'm just using, I don't even know what grit sandpaper I used. It was a higher count. I was just trying to smooth it out so nobody got a splinter. And I bought this sander, gosh, almost a year ago. So happy I have it. I mean, it wouldn't have been that big of a job to do by hand, but it was super duper quick to do with this machine. I think I ordered it from Amazon and it was like $20, maybe 30 max. I can't remember because it's been so long, but it definitely was a good investment. And of course, anything that I can link, I will link in the description box if you're looking for something that I'm using today or anything like that. All right, the wood looks so much better. Again, it's 12 years old, and it's been sitting out in the elements, so it's very aged because of the weather. I don't know. I was going to leave this, but I don't think I'm going to now. It looks more like rust than aged. I mean, rust looks aged. I just don't really like the rust look. I just have to figure out now. It's going to be a pain in the butt to spray paint it unless I take all the boards off. And I'm worried about taking the boards off because it's so old. Everything's really rusted. So, anyways, I might spray paint it. I think it'll look beautiful. I guess you'll see in a second. Well, here you go. I decided to spray paint it. I'm going to take this back part off. That looked easy enough, which I was able. There was a couple of screws that were a little tight, but I was able to get them all off. So I thought, well, at least if I can do this, that will be easier. And then maybe I'll just have to try to cover up the wood to spray paint the rest of it. Or I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But I am just going to go ahead and go for spray painting this middle section at least right now. And I will need to put something on the wood, some type of a clear protectant coat. Although I did already power wash this from the screw area, there was a little bit of dust in there that the power washer didn't get. So I'm just taking the hose, not power washing this, and just wiping the dust off. It's 90 degrees today, so it dried very, very quick. And now I'm just going to give it a coat of spray paint. And well, I told Hubs that I wasn't going to attempt to remove the boards because I was afraid of stripped screws and it just being a pain in the butt. And he was like, oh, I'll do it. It's totally fine. I'll figure it out. Go figure. He was able to get all of the screws off except one. Gave him a lot of trouble because, of course, it was stripped. There was a couple of them that were stripped. Look at Clark in the backyard. So anyways, he had to take a hacksaw to one of the screws to cut it off. But he did finally get it, and it made it so much easier for me to spray paint this. So I'm just going to take each one of the ends and spray paint them. I'm on the phone with Grayson right now. And again, we're so warm that these dried very quick. I did have to keep them out of the sun. I'm doing this later in the evening, so the sun wasn't too bright. But the first part that I did during the day, when I had it in the sun, oh man, that thing didn't want to dry, probably because of the humidity. But once I moved it to the shade, it dried very quickly. So I would love to hear what you have going on. Are you working on any fun projects? Have you done your flowers yet? If you plant flowers, are you doing outdoor work? Definitely feel free to share with me what you are working on. All right, now we're getting the bench back together, and this was a royal pain in the butt because, again, I asked him for help. So I got the sassy attitude, and he did it wrong. And I kept telling him, no, these are not correct. We ended up, he screwed this strip into the middle of the wood. The wood planks were not correct, so he ended up having to take it off. Why when I ask him to help me, does he have to give me attitude? I just can't figure it out. But you can see Clarky was having the time of his life running all around. I did get all new hardware, so I bought all new screws for this, which made it nice because all the other ones were all rusty and stuff. So anyways, we're getting it back together now. But it did not come without challenges. There were a lot of challenges because he didn't want to listen to me. Apparently, he thinks I don't know anything. And so he kept trying to do things the wrong way. And I'd be like, no, that's not how that goes. And you know how when someone's sassy to you, like it's really hard not to be sassy back to them? But I was trying my darndest.
What goes in those holes?
It's not right. Come back here.
What goes in these?
Oh, there's those little wood pieces.
They drill into that?
Yep.
And where do those go?
They just sat there.
Inside?
Correct.
Those gotta go on.
They don't get drilled into anything except for this.
Right, they gotta go on.
Yeah.
That'll line this up.
You can't do that.
What are you talking about?
They go here, and this goes in the back. So this sat here, this will block it, and it gets screwed in. So if you screw those on right now, there's not going to be any way to get this on. Do you know what I mean? It won't go beyond this.
So it doesn't get screwed in at all? These pieces don't get screwed into this at all?
No, they only were screwed into this. I told him once, but apparently he didn't believe me. I knew what he was trying to do. And I was trying to hold my tongue. And finally I'm like, you can't do that. It's not going to work. Anyways, we finally got it together. Oh, my heavens. Here she was before. I had her sitting right back here on the deck. And this is what she looked like. She was in rough shape. I don't know why I'm calling her a she, but I am. And it just looked terrible. But like I said, I wanted to try to salvage it. My dad bought me this 12 years ago as a housewarming gift, and I thought it was beautiful when he bought it for me. And so I got it all cleaned up, got it spray painted, and dang, it looks brand spanking new now. It is incredible what a quick cleaning job and a coat of spray paint can do. I think this bench looks beautiful, and I'm moving it to my front yard. Of course, all of the metal looks really brand new now because I spray painted it, but I love it because the wood still looks aged. There are some spots that just, they look aged, a little bit of splitting. So I think I have a nice little bench here now, and I'm so in love with it. So I'm going to go ahead and move on now to a little bit more cleaning. Yes, I am obsessed with the power washer. It is incredible. I have a couple of cement statues, and I have this cement bench that used to belong to my grandmother. And when she passed, the family asked if I wanted it. And of course, I said yes. And you can see how darn dirty it is. It's probably never been power washed. So I'm going to clean it all up. And I'm happy to report this was a totally different day. This project took me a whole week and a half actually to get done. But I hooked the power washer up all by myself. I came out here. I didn't tell the hubs what I was doing. That's usually the way I operate. And I'm just out here cleaning it. I didn't even ask him for help with moving these things. And let me just tell you, oh my gosh, these cement things were so gosh darn heavy. I mean, you guys know, cement is just, it's heavy. But I have two statues. I have a little girl and a little boy, and you can see how darn dirty this little girl is. So I'm getting her all cleaned up. You can see she's just covered, but I'm going to make her look beautiful again. And I don't know why. I have no idea why I did this to myself. I moved her, you'll see in a second, where I moved her from all the way into my yard. See, here's the little boy. Why did I not think to just move these statues are so darn heavy. Why did I not think to just move it right here on my brick? Instead of, I carried her all the way into the yard. And it was not easy. So I wised up with the little boy. And he does have an amputated foot. I don't know where his foot is. But we're not going to discriminate against that. My Tom has an amputated tail. We love him just the same. I'm keeping the little boy with no foot and all. And I'm going to get him all cleaned up. And guess what? Hubs came outside to see what I was doing. And he moved all the cement pieces back for me, which was so sweet. I didn't ask him for help, but he sure did it, and it was very appreciated. This I had sitting in between these statues. I did power wash it, but it really didn't change color at all. It is the lightest of the cement pieces, still heavy, but I decided I'm going to repurpose this, and I'm just giving it a quick coat of black spray paint. All right, now we're going to kind of move on almost to the fun stuff. First, I got to do a little cleanup. I do not have a lot of weeds, which I am so grateful for. But I do have a few, so I'm going to pull the weeds. And mostly this cleanup is just leftover leaves that got stuck in the corners and things. And so I want to clean all of these beds out so that I can make them look pretty again. We laid a fabric weed barrier last year, and I was a little skeptical of it. Hubs was insistent on it. It has really done a good job because normally that area does get covered in weeds. So, all right, I got that all cleaned up. I'm going to put this here as a little pedestal, and I had this pot last year that I got from Walmart, I think. And I'm going to put it on the porch and plant some pretty flowers in here. We did buy this pot as well. I'll show you what we're going to do with that in a second. Hubs grabbed this from Home Depot. And I went to the nursery and I got myself some flowers. So you can see that's where I decided to put the bench. Ideally, I would have rather had the bench maybe on the middle with two of my Shepards hooks on each side of the bench. However, this bed here is so uneven. We have to get some dirt to fill it in. The bench was just sideways. Basically, you can see it's on a slope. So anyways, this is how it's going to be for right now until we get the dirt. Look at this this one. The guy, I had to ask a guy to help me get it down. And he's like, ma'am, I think you picked the biggest one that we have in the whole thing. And I said, I think I did. It is gorgeous. And then the fuchsia one is one that my husband got me for Mother's Day. I actually ended up going to two different nurseries because the one nursery was really high priced. I had a gift card, so I wanted to use the gift card, but then I wasn't willing to spend any of my own money at that one. So I went to one that was more reasonably priced. So I'm just trying to figure out which potted flowers or hanging baskets I want where. And Clark always looking out the window at me. I feel bad because I know he wants to come out, but it's just so darn hot. And he just gets overheated too quick. He already had his walk on this day as well. So he's just going to have to watch me from indoors. I can't even remember what half of these flowers are called, but I got some ones that I've never got before. I thought they were so pretty. I did download some type of an app that'll tell you what flowers or plants are because of the poison ivy incident. I check everything now that I possibly can think of because I don't want to get poison ivy again. So this is the arrangement that I settled on for now, and I absolutely love it. So here are the beautiful flowers, and at the more reasonably priced nursery, two of them actually came in these beautiful pots. They're not like the cheap plastic pots that the nurseries usually use. But look at this one. Oh my gosh, it's just gorgeous. This one I loved. Again, I scanned what this big tall pink flower is, but I can't remember what it's called. And it came with one of these beautiful pots as well. I'm trying to curate the flowers and the yard to hopefully bring some hummingbirds. I have never in my life seen a hummingbird in person. I've heard them, and then I turn and they're gone. And so my goal this year is I want to see a hummingbird. All right, I saw this on, I think it was on Instagram. Somebody shared a reel and I was like, oh, that's pretty smart. I'm going to try that. So I'm putting the things that I'm going to plant in here. I wasn't sure if this soil was going to be good because it was the soil I used last year, but there was a couple of worms in there. So I was like, oh, I think this is good soil to use. Hopefully the worms will be okay in here. So anyways, you just take the pots that they come in, the little plastic things they come in, and you basically just put them in where you want them, and then you fill the rest of it up with dirt so that you create the holes to easily plant the flowers in. I thought it was genius. You guys might already know that if you plant flowers a lot. I did not know that, and I thought it was a great idea. So now I'm just getting the rest of the dirt in here to fill it up as far as I need to fill it up. And then I'll show you the holes that it created. And I think this is great, especially for being able to see the spacing and make sure everything is going where you want it to go. So this is what it looks like when you do it this way. And now I have perfect holes to plant my flowers in. The grass gave me some issues. I'll show you why in a second. But the flowers, so easy. I just pulled them right out and plopped them right in their hole. Like, I love this method. I'm so glad I saw that video. And the pot in front of the window, I used this same method and it worked beautifully. Okay, that plan worked fantastic for the flowers, but not great for this grass because I can't get it out because the roots have grown beyond this. I don't know what to do. I think I'm going to have to just cut it out of the plastic. I don't know what else to do. I'm just winging it here, so let's just try that. I need some like garden scissors or something. I just used regular house scissors, but I just cut all of the plastic away so that I could get the grass out without damaging the roots. It worked. It was a little bit time consuming, but it worked. I bought this at Hobby Lobby on clearance a while ago. And I pulled it out and the hubs was like, you should put that in the pot right there. And it looks so darn cute. Isn't that adorable? It was for sure my girl's favorite part of this whole front yard was the cute little adorable sloth sitting in the flower pot. I just love how this turned out. And I didn't do much to the front porch in this makeover because I did so many other things. But just putting this one pot here with the adorable sloth made all of the difference. I got 2 new Shepards hooks from Amazon that have double hooks on them. One of them I'm going to show you in a second, but the other one I'm going to put right here so I can hang 2 more hanging flower baskets. You can see a lot of my flowers have red. I'm trying to attract the hummingbirds. And, well, the birds, too. I'm going to put up a bird feeder, and I'm so darn excited about it. I got this from Amazon. I had trouble finding one that had the suet feeder and the bird seed feeder, so I found one on Amazon. And we're going to put this in the front yard. I feel bad that the tree died that's in the front yard that the birds used to like. And so hopefully this will attract them. So that's what this little pot is going to be for that the hubs got from Home Depot. We put one of the Shepards hook in here. Now, I would not recommend this pot if you find it at Home Depot because it just shattered all on the bottom when we put the Shepards hook in. The one I got from Walmart last year, we used a drill to drill a hole in it for drainage. It didn't crack or anything. This one just shattered all at the bottom, but it'll be fine. Hopefully, I'm going to plant some flowers in here. And I'm hoping that this is going to attract some birds to come and feed and some hummingbirds. We will see, but we're not cementing this or anything like that because I might want to move it. But I am going to put it here for now. I don't really have any color up front. To be honest with you, we don't even get weeds in this bed right here by the porch. So I'm not even certain if flowers would survive. If weeds don't even grow, I'm thinking there might be something wrong with the soil up here. I'm not certain on that, but weeds grow everywhere else in the front of my house, just not up here. Oh, and it's a hummingbird. We're willing the hummingbirds to come. All right, where's the rest of the solar lights? I love it so much. I got this little frog thing from the Dollar Tree, and then I got a hummingbird feeder from the Dollar Tree, which we have filled with water and sugar, the sugar-water combination. Before we even filled the hummingbird feeder, the Hubs has already seen 2 hummingbirds out here, and I've missed it both times. OMG. I haven't noticed any birds yet at the bird feeder. It's been a few days. There he is again. So we'll see, and I keep looking out the window, searching for the hummingbirds. 2 times he's come in the house and said, there was just a hummingbird out here. And I was like, OMG, I missed it again. All right, we are almost finished. I'm going to just quickly water all of my flowers. I bought the flowers the day before I planted them in the ground, and some of them were wilting. This is the day I bought all of these. Well, not all of them. My husband did get me one. Anyways, the nursery said they were all water, but I'm just watering them because it's really hot out. You like sleeping by the AC? Why do you gotta be under Why do you gotta be under there? You zero boy. Good night, Clarky. I love you. I love you. It was a hard day working in the yard, and I was going to bed, and I couldn't find him. And that's where he was, in the dining room behind the curtain. Oh, my cute boy. All right. It is a new day, and I am in the same clothes because I have not showered yet. We're going to have another hot day. I just took Clark for a walk before it gets too warm. And so he had a nice walk. I had a nice walk. I'm sweaty. He's sweaty. And I'm out here getting the flowers in the ground. And these are the ones, some of them started, the leaves were looking a little wilty. So I want to get them in the ground and get them all watered. I just went ahead and dug all of the holes. I kind of just marked them out where I wanted, dug the holes so that I could just get them planted right in here. And I went last year, I can't even remember the type of flower that I planted. I was going to go with the same kind, but my mom had planted some of these, maybe a different version. It doesn't matter. And I saw them at the nursery, and I was like, oh, these are so pretty. I'm going to try these this year. And I think they're called zinnias, and I love them, and the girls love them. And while I'm doing this, the Hub started laying the fresh mulch down. He did not want to lay any mulch down by where the tree is dead, because since we're going to be removing it, and our plan is probably to plant some type of pretty bushes or shrubs over there. We're not certain yet. We got to get the tree out first. But in front of the porch, he's got all of the mulch laid, and he's working on where I just planted. But I said, no, we have to lay mulch through the whole thing. And I don't know if you noticed when I started planting, dang it, I already forgot what they're called. This one was already getting like super wilty. I watered all of them, and it just perked right on back up. I love it. And there he is. There he is, looking at me. Always looking at me. He wants to come out, but it's just too dang hot. And with all his hair, he'll just get way overheated. I totally get his reasoning for not wanting to put mulch over here, since it's probably going to get all torn up. But the thing is, that's what we've done for years. And we don't have a plan yet. We don't know when we're going to take this tree down. So why not make it look nice, even if it's only up for another week? But what if it's up for another 2 months? It could be until we can get it down. So in the meantime, I just wanted it all to look nice. And I'm so darn excited. I got some new solar lights. Oh, I cannot wait to see what these look like at night. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope this video inspired you to tackle a project at your house just to make it feel better. And then one last thing, I ordered this from Amazon a while ago. It's a solar-powered little adorable turtle. So I'm gonna put it right here in the front bed, and I think it goes just perfect right here. And this is what he looks like lit up at night. Isn't that so darn cute? And then I've had these, they're little hummingbird solar powered lights for a while, and they look adorable as well. But OMG, the showstopper. Look at what these darn solar lights look like. I am in love with these. I got them from Amazon. They'll be linked down in the description box if you are interested. All right, let's get ready to take a look at some before and afters. This was the before of this front area. And again, thank you so much for spending your time with me today. I know this was a long video. I had so much to do, but I am super happy. The statues are all fresh and clean. I got my bird feeder, my hummingbird feeder, my flowers up there, all my solar lights. Little bare space right in front in that corner. And now it's filled with a cute pot with my adorable sloth in there. And then the front of beyond the sidewalk, I guess you'd call it. Like I said, I just had some cleanup to do in here, some leaves, some of those darn things that have been falling from the trees for weeks. It just looked, very plain Jane. And then we had all the big dirt piles over here from getting the well fixed. Now it's got all the fresh mulch laid. All the hanging baskets are up. I've got my flowers planted. I have a couple more solar powered lights over here. I got my lily that's hopefully going to bloom soon. And although in front of the tree looks very bare, it at least has some fresh mulch and I think ties in well. And then I've got some flowers out here and all these beautiful zinnias lining this area. And then of course, right in front of the window, I've got my hanging pots and my makeover bench. I put a little outdoor pillow on it and I love it so much. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. I appreciate you so much. And just one quick look, this is what it looked like before we got out here and did a whole bunch of work. Just really no curb appeal, especially with the dead tree. But at least now it looks like it has some curb appeal. Everything looks fresh. And I'll tell you, every time I get out of my car, it smells so good with all of the flowers. All right, that's what I have for you this week. I'm going to see you again next week with a new video. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Bye!